realize, and we talk, we hang out, we've become really, really good friends, just like I have with all of the leaders, and a lot of you too. I didn't realize where he was 12 months ago, 13 months ago. It's the power of what can be done when you get in and get busy. And in some cases, even when you get in and life shows up, but you've got a good system and a good company that's going to work for you when you work it for a little bit of time, and then we'll take care of you if something comes up. His mom passed away last year. That's a big deal. I haven't lost my mom, but I can't even imagine what that's like. And I'm just grateful that I was able to be a part of his life now, his journey, and to be a small part of changing his financial situation. That can happen for any of you. If you believe it, make some noise and help me welcome Tony Rush to the stage. Get up, guys. Get up, guys. Get up, guys.
Kind of set the table for something that I want you to take home, because I think we've done a lot of stuff over the years to make money, but we didn't necessarily have the right mindset to make money. We were doing the same things that other people were doing, but we had this sucky mindset. And part of the baggage that I had to get rid of in order to become successful was I viewed the people on the white couches up here as being like a separate species from me. Now let's be honest, it's just us girls here, okay? Let's just be honest. How many people in here, and there's nobody here but just me and you, just kind of slip a hand up if you feel like the people at the front of the room might be aliens from another planet and just a little different than you. Okay, thank you for being honest. The rest of you are liars. No, some of you may have had the breakthrough that I had. Matter of fact, we were in Puerto Rico several years ago. We were at this event, and it was really cool. It was a place called the El Conquistador, and it's kind of cool. Anybody ever been there? It's a big golfing thing, apparently. I once played golf. That's another story. I suck at golf. So they have a resort within the resort, and it's called the Casitas. And so we're there as part of this event, right? And my sponsor was a badass in the company. So we're at this resort, and he comes up to Jessica and I, and he says, "Hey, do you guys want to get together this afternoon in the pool?" And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, we have our own pool." Which I thought that was really weird. But then he explained to me, he's like, "Well, this separate area of the resort is like gated. It's like a gated community within a resort." So he's like, he gave us directions, like, "Okay, go down this pathway and then, do this, and there'll be a gate, come in, and nobody will bother you, but just come on in, and then there's this pool." So Jessica and I are like, "Hey, this is gonna be really cool. We get to hang out with our sponsor. It's a good deal." And so we get to the pool, and there's our sponsor and his wife, and then all of a sudden, here come the owners of the company. They hop in the pool, and then here comes all the leadership council, and they're in the pool, and here's Jessica and I. Like Cocker Spaniels, I'm just about to pee all over myself, because I'm in the pool with all these badasses, and here I am, I'm not making hardly any money at all. And we're there for like 2 hours, and I'm probably just like slobbering all over everybody. I can't remember. But I'm like, "Oh yeah, hey, how are you? Oh gosh, wiping my mouth." So after it's over, we're walking back to the room, and I can take you to the very spot in the hotel today. If we were all there, I could say it's right there. There's where it happened, right there, where my infinitely more intelligent wife said something that totally changed my life. Because we're coming back from the pool to go to our room to get cleaned up for dinner. And, hold on a second, the camera. He is really faster than I am, isn't he? Give our AV staff a hand, by the way. It just occurred to me, man, that I was standing in one spot and I was afraid you were going to sleep. That's all. Plus, you guys have never seen a 230-pound man run before, have you? Okay. So anyway, but we're coming back to the pool, and I look at Jessica and I say, "Isn't it awesome that we got to spend time with those guys?" And she looked at me and she said, "Yeah, but as long as you look at those guys as being that much different from you, you'll never be those guys." Does that make sense? Because, and I confess, if you had come to me before that moment and said, do you think that you can do what they can do? I would say, sure. Because I'm a big believer in personal development, and I'm a big believer in human potential, and I know that what one man can do, another can do, and I understood it all intellectually, but emotionally, I was still carrying some bit of baggage that, well, they're special. You know, I can't, Aaron Rashkin's, he's like got different DNA or something, you know, which he may. He may be an alien. We're not really sure about Aaron. He's badass. But you guys understand what I'm saying there? Emotionally, there has to be this shift. You have to get to this point where you really not just get it intellectually, but emotionally, that the people you see walking across this stage, I mean, you're talking to the former assistant manager of Walden Books at Randolph Mall, Ashburn, North Carolina. I mean, I'm just like you. The only difference between me and you is that I've made some decisions that you haven't had a chance to make until maybe this weekend. Some of you are really, really new. In some cases, maybe I'm just more consistent than you. You know, I just focus on like that jogging decision we talked about a few minutes ago. I don't wake up and question whether or not I'm going to do the thing. I just do the thing. You know, and some days I have 2 people sign up. The other day I had 8 people sign up. And you know what the beautiful thing was? The numbers are just like they're supposed to. I had 8 people sign up the last day of the contest. It was 8 basics, 4 inner circles, 2 Costa Ricas, a 15K formula, and Lawrence Tam still kicked my ass in the contest. What's up, Lawrence Tam? Did you guys enjoy Lawrence? That's awesome, man. I love you, man. So you got to make this shift, right? You got to make the shift between like, that there's something uniquely about you that's going to keep you from sitting on a white couch at the next event. That's not real. That's just totally that monkey chatter that we make up. Another story for you. So, we're in Cancun, again, at an event. And this was actually our first event. Jessica and I were at our first event. We'd made no money, really. But we got to this event, and it was a big spread out event. And you know, the thing, like the welcome thing is like at 6 o'clock. So we're walking on, there's a sidewalk along the beach between the hotel and the water. And so we're walking along, and Jessica's really observant about architecture. I swear to God, it's the craziest thing. Like if somebody's building something in Dothan, we could like be driving by and there's like a vacant lot with 1 brick stacked on another, and she's like, yeah, that's gonna be a Holiday Inn. It's the wildest thing, you know? It's like, or there's like 1 2x4 laying out on the vacant lot, and she said, oh, Olive Garden's coming. This is weird. So she likes buildings. She loves to look at buildings, and she, you know, she's just into that. I'm not even sure I'm in a building right now. So we're walking along, and there's this big, long building on the left, and she said, wait, that is 1 hotel room. And I'm like, how can you tell? And she said, well, like, look, you see, it's like a big duplex. It's like those 3 balconies are all connected in 1 room. You can tell, and she has some mystical way of knowing these things. So, you know, I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's all 1 room? And she's like, yeah. And I said, who in the world stays in places like that? You know, because and it was a really nice hotel, you know, king room, and it was just really a wonderful resort. But I remember walking by that thinking, who stays in somewhere like that? Because it was really big. It was bigger than our house. And so we go into the meeting. And as it happens, like 5 or 6 years later, we were back at the same resort. A little wiser, a lot more bruises and bumps, and, you know, had picked ourselves up. We started making some money, and we were back at the same resort. And I was going to be speaking at the resort, and so they said, hey, we got your room, don't worry about it. And so I said, okay, cool. So we get to the resort, and Jessica and I and our kids are there, and Jessica's mom is being nanny, which she's awesome at. And so the little golf cart guy picks us up and takes us to our room, and I'm not half paying attention, you know, like normal, you know. So get off the little golf cart, and they open the door, and I walk in, and there's Nanny's room, and it's like a double, and she and the kids are going to be in there, and I walk over here and look around. It's just an awesome room. I'm like, wow, this is really big. And so we're walking around and going to the bedroom or whatever, and I kind of spotted the ocean out there, so I thought, let me just step out here. So I opened the door and got my camera on. Hey, let me run out here and take a picture real quick. I swear to God, we were in the exact same room, 2,000 square foot hotel suite that I had walked by 6 years earlier and said, who stays in places like that? Isn't that awesome? do have to go in, because what it illustrates is that the only distance between where you are and where you want to be is time and powerful decisions. That's all. There really is no difference between somebody like Lawrence, you know, who's made $300,000 or whatever in the last 10 months, and where you're sitting, even if you haven't made your first $25 sale yet. The only difference is just making powerful decisions, being all in, saying yes to your business is a big thing. Like, I don't miss Monday night calls. I don't have to make that decision. Monday night, I don't go out. I'm not at a restaurant somewhere. I'm listening to Sharp and Wood. You know, you guys are too, right? Yeah. So the result is that you wind up creating a life that when you stand back from it, you look back and you think, my God, look how far. So quickly. And I remember when I was broke, God, this used to piss me off. This used to really. Has anybody ever heard making money is easy? And when you're broke and you can't pay your bills, doesn't that just run all over you? You know? And Sharp and I were having this conversation the other day. I like to just say Sharp's name every once in a while, because it makes him whip his head like that. He thinks I'm about to call him up or something. I try to screw with Sharp as much as he screws with me. But seriously, like, when I was broke and having trouble paying the bills and I was trying to figure out which end was up in this profession, and somebody would say, you know, making money is just a decision. It was so frustrating to me to hear somebody say that, because I was like, you know what? Show me how to flip that switch and I will, by God, flip it. Just make it easy. Show me what to do. And here's the thing. There will be some people in this room, not many, but a few, who will say, you know, I went to the event and I didn't hear anybody explaining where to click and what to type in that field and what to push, which button to push. If that's the case, you've missed it, because that's what we've actually been talking about all weekend. It's the belief in yourself that you can do what you want to do in your life. That's the switch. It's not about, it's not about a certain way of marketing. It's not about where the leads come from or how long it takes. None of that's real. All of that is illusion. That your old mindset is fighting for its life. It's not going to give up easy, but you got to kick its ass. You got to be like, no, I'm not that person anymore. I'm this new badass, right? That's what it's about. So then you get really cool experiences like Jessica and I were in this Mexican restaurant the other day. We go to a lot, and this is funny. This guy, I swear to God, he was new. We know everybody that works there because we eat there so much. So the guy says to me, hey, is it true what the other guys say about you? And I was tempted to just say yes, just to screw with him. And I'm like, I really didn't know what he's talking about. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I just see you and your wife and your kids are in here all the time during the day. And I know that a lot of the other people are asking, like, you know, you just got back from Barcelona and you're always on a cruise, or you don't seem to do anything for a living. And I was just wondering if you really did what they say you do. And I'm like, the usual thing I'm worried about is they think I deal drugs. Because that's what my neighbors thought when I moved into the neighborhood. Because you know how your neighbors are, right? They're kind of looking at you like, oh God, somebody moved into the St. Pierre house, which I wonder what he's going to be like. And they're all pleasant and friendly, but they really just want to know if you deal drugs or something, if you're going to be like screwing with the kids. So it's, you know, after like 2 weeks, they see that we never leave the house. And we homeschool, which makes it worse because our kids aren't in school either. So like, you know, they're like looking at us like, what has moved in next door? They can just see their property values going through the bottom, you know, which is funny. So we're in this restaurant, he's like, is it true that you did what they say you did? I'm like, what'd you hear? He said, I swear to God, he looked me right in the eye and he said, did you invent the pop-up? He thought I had, the little annoying thing that pops up and you have to close all those little windows, he thought I invented that. I thought that was the funniest, that's the funniest accusation I've had yet. And I said, you know, if I'd done that, I'd probably been assassinated by now because everybody hates them, but no, I didn't invent the pop-up. So here's my final point. The only difference between where you are and where you want to be is powerful decisions. And powerful decisions are always simple decisions. And you guys have the toolbox. You have all the nuts and bolts. Everything you need is actually not even within reach. This weekend, it's sitting in the palm of your hand. Just close your hand on it. Close your hand on it, go home, and live the life you deserve. Does that make sense? Right on, guys. You rock. Thank you.